I remember when I didn't care about these movies at all. When the first movie came out, I didn't even go to the theaters for it. I just streamed it on HBO Max. And I thought it was so damn boring. But after learning some more of the lore and seeing some breakdown videos on the world, and letting myself be immersed into that world, it was very more satisfying and more understanding on the recent rewatch of Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2, on the other hand, is a much different experience. But it's a better, more spectacular, cinema orgasmic experience. Denis Villeneuve directs these movies, and when he goes to work, he goes to work. His directing is fantastic, especially for the Dune movies. So let me recap the first movie for you. First movie, Paul Atreides, his family go to Arrakis. Arrakis is a sand planet, and the Fremen are the people of that planet. The Harkins have had jurisdiction on that planet for years, and now that they know the House Atreides is going to own, set foot on planet Arrakis, they don't like that. They're going to go down there and try to take it from them. So Paul Atreides, his whole family gets slaughtered. Only him and his mom, sister Jessica, make it out alive. And then finally, after everyone's been slaughtered, and after the Harkins set foot in House Atreides and take over their home, Paul Atreides and sister Jessica go be a part of the Fremen, the Sand People. And then that's where the movie ends. Now, let's get into Dune Part 2. If I had to sum it up, Dune Part 2 is Paul Atreides becoming the man he was destined to be, because he is the one. And he is starting to lead the Fremen. If I had to sum this up, it's basically the Fremen versus the Harkins. Paul trying to avenge his dead father, and the Harkins bringing in the nephew, Fade, played by Austin Butler. And Austin Butler, he has come such a long way since Nickelodeon, bro. Like, my goodness gracious. I remember seeing him in Nickelodeon and Aliens in the Attic, and now he's in so much. He's been in Elvis, he's been in this movie, he's gonna be in a Wild Hog type motorcycle movie. His acting chops are fantastic, and it really shows in this movie too. He plays a psycho so damn well, it's insane. But this movie is more action-packed than ever, and the action is super sick. Every time watching the action, I'm like, dude, this is so raw, so savage. I did not expect that after seeing the first one, but I'm glad I was pleasantly surprised going into the second one, and that's all I saw during the whole movie. It was so great. Also, a lot more humor is thrown into this one, as Stilgar's character, he's more of the comic relief this time around. That doesn't ruin the movie or anything. It just makes everything feel more like livelier, more happier, not so serious all the time like the first one was. I think that one works really well in this one. Even Zendaya as Chani, or I would like to call her Shoddy, because that sounds funnier. So she's the one of the Fremen who accepts Paul into their life culture more than other people, because other people call them foreigners or like outsiders, and they don't like that. But she's like, oh no, he could be really good for the Fremen. He could become one of us and learn our ways. And I thought that was nice, seeing their relationship grow from like, oh, this guy's a foreigner. First I was seeing visions about her in the first one, now I'm in their culture. Now I can get the respect from her, and then get the respect from everyone else in the Fremen. So Paul Atreides and Shoddy's relationship, that was a nice one up until the end. And yeah, well, watch the movie, you want to see what happens to their relationship. I don't really care about that right now. What I care about a lot, and I thought was fantastic, is the cinematography in this movie. Greg Fraser does the cinematography in this movie. He's done cinematography in a bunch of other movies, like The Batman, The Creator, Star Wars Rogue One, and he does Dune 1, I think, too. He does a fantastic job, and his name deserves to be out there, because he does with this Dune Part 2 as well. And man, his work is fantastic. The shots in this movie, it's just so good. Like, look at that. That's beautiful. The thing I really love in this movie is Paul's character arc. And Timothée Chalamet does a fantastic job of him as Paul Atreides. Like, in the first one, he's like, oh, he's the kid, and he's the Duke, and trying to live up to his father's legacy and do what his father wants. But now in this movie, since his father is gone, he has to be what he's destined to be. He's the one. He's the old Duke of Arrakis, and he's also the one who's going to lead the war. And apparently this is going to be the war in the third movie. And I am excited to see that, because the action in this movie was fantastic. So Paul Atreides just becomes the man. He is the man. He is the leader. And he is not afraid to get his hands dirty. And he gets down in this movie. The action he does is fantastic. There's so much intense energy in this movie. The energy in every scene of there's action. My goodness, it's so much energy. It's like a piece of cake. You could just sink your teeth into it and bite down, and it's gonna taste delicious. It's that great, especially the end fight of Paul versus Fade. That fight, man, I was on the edge of my seat for that fight, because that fight was so intense. And wow, go do yourself a favor and go watch that fight. Go watch the movie, man. Do yourself that favor. And some of the lines that Paul has too are so raw, it's just crazy. It hits you, it impacts you. It impacts you, your chest, and you feel that impaction. That's because also Timothy Chalamet is doing a great job delivering those lines. Like, he has a line in here where he says, the Emperor says, Christopher Walken plays the Emperor, and he says, "Kneel down before your Emperor, boy." And Paul Atreides says, "Neil, you're lucky if you get to keep your head." I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh shit. Timothy Chalamet makes Paul Atreides more intense. The man, the leader, the intensity is here. Just look at this.
I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis.
Go watch this movie in IMAX. I guarantee that's how you get the full effect. And I saw it on IMAX, and it was the most satisfying experience for a movie in a while. This was great. Love it. Love it. Need Dune Part 3. Okay. This movie did a lot for me. It gave me everything I needed out of 2024. The action, the feels, the intensity, the being on the edge of my seat, the great story, and the cliffhanger for what's going to leave off next. Movie of the year so far. And there's more movies in 2024. But this movie, man, this movie was something else. And it was great. Super fantastic experience. And do yourself a favor, go watch it in IMAX as soon as you can. Alright, verdict time. Dune Part 2 gets an A+.
I'm going crazy, I don't know what I should do. I keep dipping, but you stick to